On tonight's episode of Sanity Lounge, the boys welcome Anthony Hurley to the show. Hurley, as his friends and fans know him, has been in the Baltimore scene for many years. With a plethora of bands and wild stories at his disposal, Hurley has had a roller coaster life thus far. Join us in the lounge as we get to know this local singer-songwriter who's rediscovering his roots and re-emerging on the scene at the perfect moment in the city. But don't forget to lounge around after the show with a live performance from Hurley. All right, welcome Baltimore to another episode of Sanity Lounge. We've got a guest in the studio, Anthony Hurley.
Hi,
Hurley, as I know him.
Yeah.
I've known Hurley for a little bit now, just on the outskirts.
I've
He's
just met
actually
you for the first time. Yep.
right. Where Davis and him just got acquainted, but Hurley's open for making waves before, and
That's what I've heard.
Right, and I also, the rest of Making Waves knows Hurley very well because I think they all go to the same church.
Yeah.
And so it's,
You guys have a church band?
We all play at church. It's not really a church band. It's kind of like everybody just comes in and out and fills in whatever. So like Steve, who plays at your band,
Right,
He,
the bass
he plays bass, he plays acoustic guitar, he plays whatever.
Right, right.
He's one of those guys.
He's a multi.
But you guys do
player.
have a band at the church.
I mean, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. If you want to say that, yeah. But it's just like it's not just like the same guys every
Right,
time.
right,
That's
right.
what I'm saying. It's
Yeah,
like
it's like they have a couple locations. This particular church has a couple locations, so it's like a team of
Right.
players that are
Yeah.
just
Where-
flexing.
so where-
and it's super, dude. It like the talent pool at our particular church is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It
It's
is pretty
ridiculous.
serious.
No,
It's serious.
I sent you. I may have sent you the video when we went to something for Lincoln and Garrett at St. Ursula, where my kids go to
Right.
school, and they had a band,
Oh,
a three-piece
yeah,
band
right.
there, and they were fantastic.
Yeah, it's
They were
crazy.
good.
Like the amount of talent that you will like. A lot of singers and stuff too, like Whitney Houston and stuff. I would watch interviews. They all say they started a church.
Yeah.
So I think there might be something to that because
There
you
is.
go to these churches and the girl singers, the guys singers, drummers. You find people that you're like unbelievably talented.
Yeah.
Sure,
That's cool.
sure.
And then some of them are not even playing out. It's funny, like that. There's this kid Daniel who plays with us, unbelievably talented, and he just, it's just a hobby or whatever. I'm like, dude, you are so good. You are, so, you know.
Right. It's literally just for worship only. Like a lot of, I mean, it's good stuff. Let me ask you this, Anthony. Were you a guitar player first or a songwriter?
No, I've
first?
never been a guitar player. The only reason I play guitar is to facilitate writing songs.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah. So the minute when I was a young kid, the minute I picked up a guitar, strangely enough, most kids will play like Metallica or some song they know.
Yep.
The immediate moment I picked up a guitar, I learned 2 chords or 3 chords, and I immediately wrote an original song.
Oh, wow.
And that's kind of been the thing for me.
What
my
age
whole
was
life.
that?
Probably like 12, 13.
Do you still play the song?
No, I don't think so. But I just remember fantasizing about writing a song, and even before I could even play, I was like, man, I think I've always just had melodies in my ear and in my head. Anyway, I've just always had a fascination with writing.
Where
a song.
were you born?
In
Nice.
Balmer.
Balmer.
Yeah. I was born in St. Agnes. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
What drove you out to Hampstead?
Oh, I don't know. Traffic.
We're Carroll County boys.
Yeah. This is like the last frontier of Maryland. So I think you guys all know why I moved out here.
Right.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love Hampstead. It's a very small town, and it's still very mom and pop.
Yeah, right.
And I like that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You're close enough to everything. If I want to go to Ravens game or Baltimore Orioles game, it's close enough where it's not hateful, but I don't have to deal with, 695. I used to live in Elkridge, which is awful for traffic.
Yeah.
Right.
The traffic got really bad once they built a mall, and it's just insanity.
Yeah, I drive to Bethesda every now and then, more than I feel like
I'm
it.
sorry.
And the Key Bridge has made that.
Listen, you can see, you can feel
As
the
terrible as that is to
hatred
say.
in,
And what's the deal with the Key Bridge? Like, they've been working on 695 since I've been
Right.
born.
Listen,
so, like,
I
is
just
that
said
gonna
that
be
the other day.
that
I'm
great?
not
I don't
kidding.
think they've never stopped working on 695.
So what's the
since
bridge? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, our kids are going to be like, man,
No,
that
they're going to get
bridge-
that done quicker than they.
You think
than
so?
Yeah, no, they're saying
absolutely.
2028, dude.
Listen, I don't know why. I just have this
Think that's
vibe
crazy.
that they're going to get that bridge done,
I
and
hope so.
the same section of 695 that they've been working on since I
They'll go
was
back
a
to
child.
that. right.
Is still going to be
Well,
like,
yeah. Well, they didn't work. They put like 695 over your way, like to Catonsville side on
Right, right,
hold for like a year and a half after
Yes.
that accident.
after
Yes.
that tragedy.
Yeah, they
That was
just started
fucking-
getting back
Okay.
to that.
Gosh, that tragedy, not the Key Bridge
No,
tragedy.
no, that was
tragedy.
insane,
Yeah, that
yeah.
was terrible, awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
don't
traffic
stop bringing-
sucks.
yeah,
no matter
traffic's
where
awful.
you are.
Yeah, good thing you moved out to Hampstead. Good stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
traffic-wise.
Yeah. No, my parents still live in Vicksburg.
So when did you start vibing that, like right then you figured you were a songwriter, but like at 13, did you start playing out and stuff or?
So, my uncle owned a music store in Baltimore City called Ted's Music. I don't know if you're familiar.
No.
But
Okay,
he's
no.
so I'm half Spanish, half Irish. Just funny. He's not really my uncle either. He married my aunt, so he's not blood. But anyway, he had Ted's Music. It was so funny because his name was Fernando, and and
That's
he's
so hilarious.
But he was an amazing musician, and he played in a group called Mundo Latino, and he played the congos. But anyway, the fascinating thing about my uncle was that in Ted's Music, if you go there, he could play fluently every instrument in his store. Nice. Like he was just one of those guys, just really,
No,
really.
that's that fascinating. That's a talent that fascinates
Of course,
me.
yeah. I remember my father. He did a commercial air conditioning for Baltimore Train, and we went down there to help him with his air conditioning, and we went under there, dude. You don't want to know what's underneath of a building that old in Baltimore City. It was just crazy. But yeah. But yeah, he would tell me all these stories.
I've
like
been under 'em.
like Johnny Depp was at his storefront when he did Cry Baby.
Oh,
and,
nice.
And he had a picture with him and Cry. And I think he bought a guitar from him and all that
nice.
stuff. So yeah. Anyway, I went all that to tell you. One year, he gave just a crappy guitar and some bongos to me and my sister. And of course, he gives the guitar to my sister and the bongos to me. And I'm like, cool. And then I'm just like looking at the guitar, right? And that guitar just went right in the corner of her room. So I was just like, so I just started stealing it, and I just became in love with the thing until she finally was like, just.
Now, did she
have it.
play? Did she mess with it at
No.
all, or you were just like?
Not really, no.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're self-taught. Never took lessons.
Yeah, unfortunately, and then yes.
Nah,
so,
I don't think that's unfortunate. I
Well,
think
it can be, but anyway, I'll give you the quick and short of my life though.
That's all right.
So back then there was the 8x10.
Yep.
Okay, and the 8x10 had a open mic night. That was actually very, very popular and some
What
amazing
years?
talent. Dude, don't ask me years. I hate that.
How
You
old are you?
ballpark it.
Hold on, let me think about
Look,
this.
he's getting the heat.
90s.
Nah.
So-
How old are you?
Not 45.
Okay.
So, yeah, the 90s.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, it was when Jimmy's Chicken Shack,
Yeah.
they would play there once in a while. There was a guy named Kevin Kadish. If you know who that is, dude, he's amazing talent. Kevin Kadish is from Towson. He wrote All About That Bass. He wrote,
of Kadish, and he for
guess.
Meghan Trainor, right?
correct.
Wait, what?
Listen, Kadish, they were on. This is a couple years back on 98 Rock.
Yes.
Before Rice, Mirth, and Persaurus or whatever. I think Kadish was on 98 Rock, and the dude.
I think his
he-
family is like big attorneys.
He
or whatever.
came on the air
Yeah.
and went over the story because they won a Grammy or some shit.
Right.
Like,
Dude,
But
he's
what has it
big-
got to do with Meghan Trainor now?
he
right,
wrote a song with
I know
her.
the song. I know her song.
Full circle.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I would go there, and there would be all these amazing. When I tell you amazing, even to this day, I remember.
Yep.
Anyway, he would go up there with like a leather jacket on. He had his fingernails painted. I just thought he's a very eccentric, weird kind of dude. He had a Latin style guitar, but he would get up there and he would sing songs just like I just did. But everybody in the room would just shut up and be like, holy, it's just straight talent, dude. Just super catchy songs, very well written. just unbelievable. So I tried to become friends with him a little bit. We were friendly. We would hang out once in a while. But anyway, he moved to Nashville. He wrote like Whiskey Glasses by Morgan Wallen. He wrote, I'm going to mess this up. I know he got his break with Willie Nelson. He wrote a song for Willie Nelson. Megan Trainor, he worked with her with All About the Bass. I think he also recorded the rest of that first record.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And that's how his the Grammy affiliation.
Amanda's going to love that.
Yeah,
Amanda loves
he
She's
won
a
a
huge
Grammy.
Megan
He wrote
Trainor
another
fan.
song with a girl named Stacey Orico. There's gotta be more to life than chasing out every temporary.
No,
high.
I don't
It's like
know,
a pop.
baby, but it sounds great.
Yeah, it's great.
man.
And the guy is just unbelievable talent. So he is honestly what really everybody's got to have that person to look up to. And at that time, I was nothing. I had no idea what I was doing, and I was like, whatever that is, I want to be that.
Right.
I want to learn to do that.
So you went down and checked him out doing the open mics at the 8x10.
And then I slowly migrated into doing that.
Yep.
I got a band together, and it was called Mason Dixon. It was so silly, but anyway, we were doing like back then. I wanted to do like Southern rock. So like I was super into STP's first record.
Nice.
I liked the mix of like rock with like the Southern kind of sound, you know. And I was like, at that time I was very into Southern rock and country, but I liked distortion. And so anyway, that's Mason Dixon was that. And I remember I would come out with boots, a John Deere hat, and a book bag. I don't know why. I always wore a book bag, and that was just my look. You know what I mean? And it became my thing.
Right.
And I would come out, maybe play a couple things on the acoustic guitar. Next thing you know, there's heavy distortion, and people are like, "What the hell is this?" And so that was my introduction to kind of like what I was going to be. And I was like, "Man, I love this." And the 8x10 shout out just gave me an opportunity to play, you know, with a PA system, just feel what I'm going to be as an artist and take some chances. So
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I still know some of the people in town too. Like there's a girl named Nikki. She still plays around town acoustic and she,
Nikki Acoustic?
yeah. And Nikki,
Is that her name?
No, her,
Because there is somebody named Nikki Acoustic, like local.
yeah.
That'd be one.
It might be her.
Or that's what she goes by.
Yeah. And her name is Nikki Stacy,
Okay.
but I think she might go by that.
Yeah,
I'm
like
not really sure.
Instagram and Facebook, I think she goes by Nikki
She's
Acoustic.
so good.
Yeah.
She's so good. So talented. But I mean, she would have like, I remember there's another band called Cloudbreak there that these guys had gone to, what's the music school around here? The
Sheffield?
No,
Or
the
the
one
music
with the girl.
Oh, Peabody?
Peabody.
Right.
Yes.
I was saying
and
the
these
outcome.
guys were ignorant, like so good.
Right.
And they would get up there and there was just a drummer and a guitar player. And that, before even Rage Against the Machine did it, the guitar player would pull the cord out of his guitar and make sounds with, you know, and he was just so talented. And anyway, that was a little scene
Right.
for a long time, and it was cool. But
And it kind of gave you your bona fides.
what
to
was cool?
start.
What was cool about it is that nobody judged anybody else.
Yeah.
Everybody was different.
Right.
Every act was different. I mean, like I said, there was a guitar player drummer duo,
Right.
but everybody knew them as Cloudbreak, and everybody accepted them. Boom. Nikki and her band, they had like fiddles, and they were kind of doing like more of like a Dave Matthews kind of. I don't want to pigeonhole her into that, but like she's got an unbelievable voice, and all the bands were just friends with each other too. There was another band called Sons of Buford, and everybody would play with each other as well. Like the guitar player would jump up with there was another band called Lear, excellent.
Nice.
But anyway, yeah, and after that I just started touring. No, I'm sorry, not jump to. I got into a band called 7 Days Torn, and we played, and we did a lot of things with that band. We did tour. We got a record deal with Universal.
What year is this now? What are we talking?
Man,
I know
said
you
don't
hate
ask
that.
him years,
I know
dude.
you
I
hate that,
know.
but give me a ballpark.
early 2000s, probably early 2000s.
2000s?
Yeah. And we did all kinds of stuff. You know, we went to LA and just toured around everywhere. We played with like Hailstorm
Nice.
and Ballyhoo and all these bands. I mean, we were doing everywhere. New York City.
Now, in
And-
that band, were you writing the songs and stuff? Nice.
Yeah. I've
And
always been the singer-songwriter.
Singer. Yeah, okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But like, I will tell you this, like, I'll quickly, you know, I don't want to talk too much about myself because I know.
Well, this is
I
what
know
this
that's
is
what's
about.
all about.
Yeah, it's fine.
Everybody knows
But
that.
I'm hoping, right? Nobody gives a
just-
shit
I
about
will-
us.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, but,
I understand.
Basically in that band, That was the first time that, like, as a musician, you learn the dynamics of a band. Okay, so there are some bands that there's like one cook in the kitchen, and then the rest of the band is like the color. You know what I mean? It does both work, and I've learned this the hard way. That was easier for me. I found a bunch of guys that believed in my writing and just took it to the next level.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? And so anyway, 7 Days Touring did very well. We got that record deal offer and Universal Records. We went to Canada, recorded in the second biggest studio in North America, which is owned by the drummer of Triumph.
Nice.
Yeah, and we got signed with this group called 211 Ventures, and they're responsible for like Bare Naked Ladies and Sum 41. And anyway, they paid for us to do this video where it was, at that time, it was like skater punk, and they were like, well, we could put a half pipe behind you guys while you're playing.
Right.
And they hired actors. It was crazy, dude. It was a lot of production behind us.
Is that on YouTube and stuff? Or?
No, so I'll tell you why.
Okay. I can't wait.
So at that time, Universal, it was a subsidiary of Universal. They were like, look, we're going to do a 5-song EP with you guys, and if we like it, we're going to keep it and we're going to sign you. If not, you can have it and you can go on your way. But we have first dibs, basically. This is the opportunity we're going to give to you. We're going to put all this to see if you're worth the mustard or whatever.
Right.
And then if you're not, that's fine. And then we'll give you, whatever.
Right.
At the time, we had a manager that was just not a manager. He was just some guy that saw, I guess, dollar signs or whatever. We're going to hook you guys up.
So he wasn't somebody you knew.
He was a friend of mine's brother.
Okay.
He was a businessman. So anyway, so he the way I understand it is that he shopped us before while the project was being done, he shopped us to other labels. Mm-hmm. And these labels all talk to each other.
Right.
So then the people from Universal came back and they were like, this is unethical, blah, blah, blah.
Like, we didn't know the shit was happening.
Yeah, and we're done with you guys just all together.
They didn't care.
So the long story short is that we came back with our tails between our legs, burned bridges, which is awful feeling.
Right.
And all this work, I mean, at that time, man, we were selling out the Record Theater, and we were like, everywhere we were playing in Pennsylvania, just hundreds of people coming to see us play. I mean, we were... the buzz was around us.
Right.
We had heat, as they said.
You were feeling the
so
juice.
When that happened, it was devastating, dude. I'll be honest with you, it was devastating because at that time in my young mind and all of our young minds, we're like, this is it for us. This is our moment where we can capitalize. I mean, nobody's going to spend this much money to have actors and all the stuff for our video, and plus this huge studio.
Right.
So we came back and. We ended up having to paint a lawyer's house in shout out to Diane, I forget her last name. She's a attorney, musical attorney around here, or entertainment attorney. So to defend us, because I think the manager came back and tried to sue us for money he gave us to, like, basically for us staying in hotels.
The manager that shopped you around.
Right.
And long story short, we had to protect ourselves from him and from Universal for breach of that contract. So anyway, long story short, the sad story of a bunch of dummy musicians. We ended up painting her house because we didn't have any money. Right. We painted her house. She kind of got us out of that pickle. And at that time, the drummer and the bass player, they were just excellent. The drummer's like, dude, I'm done. He said, I can't mentally take this anymore.
Right.
Like, this is such a roller coaster to have to come back down.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So that he was gone, and then slowly the bass player, same thing. He was just like, man, I can't do this again. Like, it was such a climb, that mountain, and it felt like we just fell to nothing. But I never gave up. We kept changing members. Eventually, I left that band. I wanted to just start over, and I did. I played in another band called Rosabella, which I started with just a drummer and a guitar player, and we were I think that was probably one of the most talented groups of guys I've ever played with. They were all the guys at that point were pros, just straight pros. Every guy individually is just an amazing, amazing musician. 7 Days Touring was more of like friends.
Right.
And there is something to both of that, right? Like, there was super chemistry in 7 Days Touring because I don't know. It's you know how it is. Bands sometimes just click. I feel like Rosabella, while we were very good too, it was kind of more contrived because it was like a super band. Like, let's get the best guy for every position.
3 gunslingers.
Yeah, and not that we're not friends and stuff like that, but it wasn't as organic as 7 Days Tour. So anyway, we did a lot of great songs, great recordings. I think we did 2 or 3 records, and eventually that dissolved about a year ago. And anyone can check it out on YouTube. I mean, Rosabella is very professional, super legit videos. We did a video, it's really cool. I'll tell you guys real quick. We did a video for a song called So Familiar, and I have a friend, shout out to Eric Barque. He is Bruce Willis's stand-in for the movies. He's not a stunt double, his stand-in.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, and anybody who can Facebook Eric Barque. It's insane. He looks exactly like exactly like him. So he does all his commercials. He's done all the Die Hard movies. It's just crazy. And he'll always send me stuff. People are like, dude, check out, and he's sitting in the actor chair like next to Bruce Willis.
Nice.
That's awesome.
But I think he was even
Can
on.
he get us, Bruce?
I think he was even on Wendy Williams.
Right.
Because she had like all the guys that look like the actors. I'll tell you quick about him too. It's cool. He hangs out with all the other guys that look like other actors.
Right.
So they're all friends. So he's friends with like the Sylvester Stallone lookalike,
Right.
Jason Statham and all. And once in a while they'll get corporate gigs where they'll fly those guys into like, some rich company just wants to, as a gag, have those guys come out as the, he did a movie called The Expendables.
Yeah. That's Stallone. Yeah.
No,
And
but
Statham
Bruce
and
Willis.
Bruce
is in it.
Willis.
Yeah.
No,
and
but
everybody.
Oh, sorry. He did Expandables.
Expandables.
Which is a spoof of the Expendables.
I got you.
With the lookalike actors?
Yes.
That's
That's
a real
wonderful.
movie that you can watch?
I think so.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Or
That's
it's
the
a-
best
or it's a
story.
project.
Yes. Anyway, he told me, man, it's like crazy, What a weird thing to do in
Yeah,
life.
somebody's
like,
got to do a
just-
documentary about
that's
those.
a
Yeah, that's
situation
cool.
where
You know what
like
I
you
mean?
go to a bar, if they all like get together and go out to like a bar or something, and people start taking pictures with them, and people will wake up in the morning and think they're like tripping. They're
Yeah,
like,
right.
well, that guy just looks like Bruce Willis, but it wasn't him. You look and you're like, well,
I
wait
know
a
how-
minute, your guy looks like Keanu Reeves, but that's not him. That guy looks like Stallone, dude. Like we
guy-
didn't meet any
Like,
of those
what the hell
motherfuckers.
happened?
It's so funny.
We
It's,
didn't meet any of those fucks.
all of them, I mean, obviously, the Stallone guy's pretty close.
Yeah.
Eric's pretty close, my friend Eric. But the problem with Eric is that he's a really he's like good looking Bruce Willis when, not that Bruce Willis isn't good looking, but he's getting older.
Sure.
So he looks like Bruce Willis in Die Hard.
Right.
So that's probably flattering to Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis is like, cool, my stand-in looks like younger.
Right,
me.
right.
Well, you know what's
That's
funny
hilarious.
enough? The guy Johnny Alonso is a guy we're going to try to get on here, and he is Johnny Depp's stand-in for Crybaby. Like that was one of
that's
his
cool.
credits. Yeah, but the guy looked like Depp.
Yeah.
It's like somebody's got to do a documentary. It's just like those.
It's awesome.
There was a documentary about the people.
Hold
like
up.
it's called like Next to.
I
Stardom.
might steal your idea, dude.
I know.
Yeah.
Copyright. Wheel, take this down.
Edit,
a
yeah,
great
edit this part.
documentary.
Right.
It'll just go right to another subject.
But it is a great idea. I mean, because what is subgenre?
So anyway,
Yeah.
all that to say, my friend Eric, I was like, dude, how cool would it be to make it look like we have Bruce Willis in our video? So
That's incredible.
my band Rosabella has a legit video that was done by an art student. That's so good. It's like this video just looks like film. It looks like the art student was great. All the actors were great. Everything just came together, like I said, organically. And you couldn't, if you tried to have that video made now, it'd cost you $10,000.
Right.
And it was crazy. Like our friend too, that was the art student. He didn't have like gimbals and stuff, so he was a pro skater. So he would use like what do you call it, PVC, and made rails for his like camera and stuff, and like everything was homemade.
Yeah.
But he was so good. You know what I mean? He knew what he was doing. So anyway, I encourage anyone to.
So that's on YouTube.
Yes.
And what's the song called?
So Familiar.
So what? I mean, you're gonna watch it. If you wouldn't have told anybody, will people like that's fucking Bruce Willis in that video?
I show it to people as a gag especially when it first came out. I was like, dude, check this out. I got Bruce Willis. I would always like hint to it. I'd be like, oh, I got Bruce Willis in my video. And they'd be like, holy, like, that's really him. And in the video, the shots just really are flattering to make it look like it really is him, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Sure.
If you met him in person, you'd be like, that guy looks like Bruce Willis, but that's not Bruce Willis.
Right.
I wish I could show you a picture.
It's the art of filmmaking,
It's
too.
insane.
It's like,
On film, he looks even more like.
Well, no, you can't send me a picture and I'll put it up.
I will
while we're talking.
Okay, I will. Yeah, he's such a nice and humble guy too. He's a great guy. Anyway, so I don't know what I was talking about. Yeah, Rosabella, and then
Going
our
through
band.
the bands.
Yeah, and our band just dissolved, and yeah, man, I've always, again, I just want to throw that at when I noticed that Rosabella also was a very much growing to be a group effort, where it's kind of started with me writing the songs completely, but our last record ended up being, I think, just because, you know, all the musicians were so great, they wanted to have more input on the writing. So the songs got more complex, got more almost like djenty, you know.
Djenty.
You know what?
I don't know that word.
Djent is like that. It's a style of music that just it's more progressive. Is what I'm saying. We were still a rock band, but now instead of just having your basic structures of like verse, maybe bridge, chorus, whatever, like the basic Beatles structure to a song. Now we have maybe 2 breakdowns and solos, and songs are becoming 5 minutes. And
it's more rush.
And I wanted to get away from that. Like, I've never really been into that. I liked it just because I was like fusing with other musicians, but I felt like I was falling further away from what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? They would come with like these sick riffs and stuff, and I would have to try to like make sense of that in a pop sense. Not pop, but in a way that it was appealing to the ear. Because basically, I didn't want to be the band that just other musicians listen to. You know,
Right.
I wanted to be the band that like has a song that means something that people will want to listen to. You know, that's always been my target with music.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway,
Right. It is a different vibe. It's like, and there's a fork in the road that you can either choose to, some people can straddle the fence, but a lot of times it's like you either, like, because progressive fans or even jam band fans and stuff like that, it's a different itch you're trying to scratch, and it's like, and if you're a songwriter, as it were, that's a different community. It's like you want to be in a songwriting.
The goal was always to be kind of like a, there are bands that do it well, right? Both. Like,
right, straddle the fence.
Like Incubus. Incubus, we always looked up to the band Incubus because they managed to make the interesting enough music where it's not so, cliche or contrived, but also the lyrical content and everything was, it's just right there.
Yeah, and, Incubus are players. Like they're a good band.
Yes.
Like they're
so
good players.
I think that's a struggle a lot of times with rock bands. It's like you want to have musical integrity and make the music interesting enough, but also don't like go so far away that the average person's they're just not going to get it. They're not going to, and there is some people that just play for themselves, and that's one thing we always wanted to kind of reel it in. But anyway, so that's why now when I left Rosabella, I was like, I kind of, even though it might not sound like it to some people, this is as far away from that as possible, right? I just wanted to get back to telling stories, singing, and just raw. And like, so when I go out, a lot of people use loopers and stuff, and all that's cool. But for the longest time, I was like, I just want to see if I can survive with my voice and a guitar in a bar or just in anywhere. And that's what I'm trying to do now. I just go out literally with my voice and a guitar. I write songs, and I try to fool people in the way that I go out to play covers, but I'll throw in, I mean, like I said, I've written over 70 songs. Maybe it's like 60.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'd say I'm not going to hit people with 60 songs because it doesn't matter if I'm Paul Simon or not. Nobody cares, right? But I'll play like 4 banger, cover songs that are people like, oh, that sounds great. And then just like, boom. Sometimes I won't even say it's a cover, or I mean, it's an original song. But also I do like to do the storytelling too. That draws people in. If I say, I wrote this song about my father and this blah, 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 and you just tell a quick story, people do get engaged that way. And I have a song that I wrote for my wife that is the story of our lives, you know, and every time I tell the story and everything, you know, it's funny that some women, you know, they'll just be like, oh, you know, but if I don't tell that story, it'll kind of just go over their heads.
Yeah,
So,
I mean that's the thing with my wife. Like she doesn't. She loves all music, but music she can't understand. Like she
Sure.
can't. And then you don't know what it's about. You can't understand what they're talking about, and you don't know what the fuck's going on.
You have to have an
Yeah,
access
That's why
point.
I dig your like style of music because
Thanks.
I like storytelling in music. I like following the story with a melody.
Yeah.
It's just I love it. That's what you do is what I'm into the
Thanks,
most
dude.
these days. I've been into everything, and I
Sure.
still like all music, but
Stripped
like
down.
like
I do too.
some
songwriting.
things like stress me out nowadays.
So like, no, and I totally understand that, dude. And you know, I'm friends with my good friend. Shout out to Scotty Altizer, he's one of my best friends. We would go to shows all the time when we were younger, and he didn't give a crap what the song was about,
Right.
but he would love like heavy music, and I'm cool with that. We would go out and see like Slipknot and all these bands, but I would like sit there and want to digest the music. I want to listen. He's like, dude, I'll see you in a bit, and he'd just go to the mosh pit, come back, look like he had been, you know, attacked by a bear, and he just loved the beat and how the music made him feel. If you asked him what one song was about, I guarantee he would not know.
Yeah, sure.
And you know, so we would go to rock shows all the time, and I started to understand that people digest music for different reasons.
Yeah, and I totally respect that. That's just not me.
Yeah.
Well,
And I'm
mosh
with you.
pits never were me.
Yeah, it's too
But you know,
much.
it's like the
But
EDM crowd.
sure.
They just went do, and they're feeling like a vibe. It's
100%.
more. Some people want to hear a story. Some people want to relate to their lives, and a, you know. And me, I grew up Willie Nelson, and I just always was really into stories and good singing. Like, you know, and Stevie Wonder's another one. When I was young, I used to listen to headphones before I go to sleep. My mom would be like, turn that shit off. I don't know if I could cuss on here. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I would fall asleep to Stevie Wonder, and Stevie Wonder's melodies are just intoxicating.
Incredible.
He's just
We met him.
Yeah.
No big deal.
No big deal?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We didn't just meet him. We had a personal concert.
Yeah, he played a concert for our
For
school. Well, it was our school, but it was only like 100 of us.
Maybe 100 people showed up.
Was he incredible?
Yeah,
was
yeah.
incredible.
They just
It was
brought
unbelievable.
they brought a keyboard out for him, and he took requests.
Yeah. it
Oh,
was-
my
And we just
Lord.
shouted out songs for
was
him
in
to
a
play, and he
parking
played
lot.
them.
He played them all.
It was in the parking lot of Orlando,
And there's
like
there's something
98.
to being blind,
Yeah.
right?
That was
Yeah, man.
99.
As a musician,
Wasn't it 99?
I feel like blind musicians, like the other one, Jeff Healy. You remember Jeff
Oh
Healy?
man, Jeff Healy,
Yeah, unbelievable.
Roadhouse,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
Remember?
So those guys, I feel like, you know, your sensory, your senses are so
has to be,
strong.
yeah.
It has to be,
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
that's what
Absolutely.
people say that aren't good. You know, like,
Right.
oh, well, you know, his sensory.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, that guy
well,
can't
people
see.
still say that Stevie Wonder's not blind.
Yeah, no,
Listen,
I know.
I just-
I've heard that.
They're the
conspiracy.
flat earthers.
Yeah. Right. No. But I mean, he's just incredible, and I think that helps. Like, cause his pitch is unbelievable
Oh
as a
my
singer.
gosh, the strength
Oh, my
of that
God.
high.
It's
note.
unmatched. It's unmatched.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You know
anyway.
who, in his heyday, probably could have hit that note, and maybe still could now. Jim Cabral's got a hell of a high
Yes.
note.
So
when he-
for those that don't know, Jim is the singer
Yeah,
of
he's-
Making Waves, and he is an absolute monster of a singer.
Yeah.
he's a
Monster.
beast.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's no joke.
I
Yeah,
need a
he-
Making Waves fix. I haven't seen you guys in a while, but I know when I am going to see you guys.
You guys are fun.
January 17th,
at
McAvoy's, Parkville.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's where
That's
we'll be.
our next gig. For gosh sake,
It's always
so
just
long,
a
man.
fun night, and you get to dance
Yeah,
and
man.
have
So-
some drinks.
Oh, I've turned people on to his band, Andy.
Right.
Dude, he loves you guys. Like he's in for January.
I appreciate it.
Nice.
So, well, I want to hover on something though. So you get deep with some of these songs. So
Yep.
do you want to speak on that a little bit? Like I'm an addict. It's been, since 98 since I've had, hard drugs, but I
Alcohol.
hear I hear, you got some story there. Like
Yeah.
is there anything
I try to just speak it in the music, but yeah, I did go through a very dark time in my life. My parents passed away 3 months away from each other. My mom died of cancer. My dad died of a heart attack. And that really hit me very hard at that time in my life.
And what age was that, if you don't mind?
No, that's fine. It's 2011. So
it sucks.
But yeah, that at that point in my life, everything was going wrong, and
Right.
the band stuff. So I went into a really dark place, and drugs and alcohol, all this stuff. I was just, I don't know, man. I was definitely coping, and so. All I can say to that is, like I said, I do write a lot about that, because that is probably one of the darkest things that I've ever gotten out of by myself. Actually, not by myself. How I got out of it, but I remember one story. I don't even know if I should say this. Yeah, maybe just not talk about it.
Well, real quick.
It's all good, man.
Yeah, only what you're comfortable with. Real quick,
Yeah.
were you always a spiritual cat, or did you have a moment of clarity right then and there? Or
I was raised, Christian by my mom, and I think I strayed just like most people, and then came back slowly. And I think my wife heavily influenced that as well. I feel like my wife, honestly, even though like the cards really weren't in it for us to be together, she saved my life, literally, spiritually, and just I feel like she was literally an angel that came down to me, because I was in one of the darkest places I've ever been, and I still remember seeing her in that bar. It was after, what do you call that, after a funeral where people
Wake.
Wake.
I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah, and I just happened to see her there, and I actually saw her in the funeral, and of course that's not appropriate.
Oh, you're right. You said, well,
But I saw her at the wake, and yeah, when she walked in, man, I felt it was like a glowing around her, and but anyway, I think that I've just grown a lot. Having children helps mature you a lot. But yeah, it's a constant struggle. Let me just put it that way. Yeah. I think the number one thing for anyone who is in that situation that helped me was get rid of all your friends. Not all your friends, but you know what I mean? Like all the people that surrounded me. Because you find out
ones that'll stick around.
And if you're in that situation, usually I would say the majority of the people are not in your best interest.
Yeah.
So I had to do that. I still, think about it to this day, because I had a large amount of people around me, and I just disassociated myself from everyone. And like you said, some people will hang around, and years later they'll be like, "Dude, I get what you did."
Yeah,
and whatever.
I mean, with
but
them,
it was the only way. It's the only way, because if you try to navigate that and still have all that around you, that's almost
especially
impossible.
if you're running game, you have to have a clean break from the game that you're running.
Yes.
And it's hard to if people around you, aren't on the same page.
Right.
Yes.
But if you have the support system, it makes things easier.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it's I'm happy you came out on the other side.
Thanks.
You're here now with us today.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And so do you
we've been through a lot.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I mean, I still I drink occasionally, and honestly, I try to stay in shape. So like even the drinking nowadays, man, it's just
no. I follow
I can't
Bert
drink like
Kreischer's
that.
method these days. Is I'm just going to keep my body just healthy enough so I can always have a cocktail.
It's Bert Kreischer. If
like,
you look at him like this, like he looks in shape, except for like right in this area.
It's wild.
It's wild. He's like an athlete.
It's like every 18 months he sort of gets in shape.
He does.
Right. It's like all of a sudden you start seeing pictures of him and you're like, holy shit! Like he looks good as shit.
Yeah.
But it's really only every 18 months.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. Is Tom Segura going to grow his beard back? Did he do that already? Because it's driving me crazy that he shaved his beard off. I don't know if that's a new video or an old video that I've seen, but
I feel like he's
beardless
He's
now.
changed a lot over the old Tom. The old Tom Segura was just very raw. He has changed as just a person, and I'm a big fan of comedy. Big fan. Yeah.
Dude, we've had
the
had
Two
three
Bears and
stellar comedians in here.
Schlegel's in
the
here,
Two
right?
Bears
Schlegel's
podcast
been in,
is
Tommy Sambazo and Umar Khan.
I know Tommy's great too, man.
Yeah, dude, and Umar
Bussy's coming in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I said they said they'll just do material.
Who's the other guy who's from Baltimore and is now national?
Stavy.
That's
That's the
the
white
one.
whale.
He's
the
one of
one.
our golden goose. He's one of our golden
He's one of the
geese.
ones. He doesn't have to do shit
No.
right now. So
we have
the
not.
ideal,
I mean, in our
you
defense,
know,
we have not asked him to
Right.
come on yet.
Right,
But
right.
it's one thing we're gonna
right.
do.
That would be the dream. The dream get.
What were you just saying? What were you just talking about?
What the hell was I just talking about? I'm not good at this, baby. My memory.
We were talking about comedy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you said
Umar.
2 bears, 1 cave.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say.
I don't know. I see
saying-
clips of it, and he just didn't have a beard, and
Yeah,
it was
that's
weird.
wild. It's got to be weird.
Are you guys?
He looks
I don't
like
think I've
a
ever seen
child.
All right, quick game. Top 3 national comics right now.
Oh, I love this.
Top-
That I like, or you're asking?
Yeah. Who's your top 3 right now? And no Chappelle.
So no.
Chappelle.
I love
Yeah, you
Stavy.
can't do obvious.
Okay.
I didn't get to go to the lyric, which
Stavy's a
I'm
good
pissed
one.
off about. I like Bargatze, Nick Bargatze.
Yeah,
Nate.
he's great.
Nate Bargatze.
Nate, yeah.
Ooh.
Who did we just watch? Oh my God!
I can
come
answer.
back. Yeah, go
All right,
ahead.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Stavy, one of the greats. Anthony Jeselnik.
Oh, money. He's so
Dude,
brutal.
that hour.
I
of,
know. Oh my God!
You watched
no,
the new
I
one?
can't.
Dude, that hour of
It's great.
stand up he
Pete
just released.
Holmes is
Pete
one of my
Holmes.
favorites.
Who?
Pete
Pete
Holmes.
Holmes.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Pete Holmes. Yeah,
He
yeah.
did. Have you watched Crashing?
Dude, I've seen
Yeah.
a couple of his stand-ups, and his he does these Batman videos.
Yes,
that
yes. But
kill
my
me.
favorite thing about Pete Holmes is he laughs at himself
Yeah.
and he means
yeah,
it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he thinks I mean, he is funny, but he thinks he's real
Sure,
funny
he-
when he cracks
Right.
himself
He cracks
up.
himself
and I
up,
love when
right.
comedians do that.
It's
Yeah.
the Jerry Jackson.
Yeah, yeah.
Shout out Jerry.
All right,
Jackson.
I'm going to
Rest his
go.
soul.
I love Mark Norman.
Oh
Mark
my God,
Norman.
I love
Umar
Mark
opens for him all the
Yeah,
time.
dude.
Yeah.
Mark
yeah.
Norman's a
Our
dream
guy,
get.
yeah.
I mean, he comes to
He-
Magoobies
yeah.
and he knows Umar.
To me,
you
he
know.
is an absolute killer.
He's
like
a killer.
joke.
Yeah.
He
Umar's
just-
opening up for him this month.
Yeah,
somewhere.
in Pennsylvania.
I would say
Yeah.
Mark Norman. I really like Shane Gillis's new.
I
Shane
love
Gillis. I like
So,
Shane Gillis.
absolutely.
and I would say Stavy.
Yeah.
Dude,
Shane
so-
Gillis, his stand-up where he talks about
his dad?
I think so, but where he talks about when he went to the George Washington
Oh
Museum.
my God.
Oh, yeah.
It's incredible.
Is that the same special where he talks about his Fox dad, or that's the next
I
one?
think so, and then
Oh,
like
yeah.
how his family, like he has family members with Down syndrome. It's
Yes.
the main one where he
That's
talks about
the-
Trump
that's the
in
most
the
recent one.
Trump in the war room, where he's
Yes.
like, oh,
Right,
Yeah.
right. It's beautiful. Right.
He died like a dog.
So listen,
Yeah.
the Anthony Jeselnik special that just came out
Right.
over Thanksgiving weekend is one of the smartest hours of stand up I've ever seen in my
yeah.
life, hands down.
Yeah, you know he's been doing comedy for like 23
Oh yeah.
years. Yeah.
Did you see it yet?
No, I
Let
haven't.
me tell you something.
I know it just came out.
I like Anthony Jeselnik fine. I've seen his specials and I like him a lot.
Yep.
This was unbelievable.
I
it
have
was
to watch
an
it.
incredible.
that's another one. I
hour of
can't
stand-up.
wait to see Justin's special.
I mean, it
when
is
that's
dark.
going to come out next
Justin's
month.
great.
Oh
Justin
my
is great.
gosh, Justin's
He
special.
did
I
the
can't wait to
Rams
Rams
see
head
that
shows,
shit.
and he recorded it, so he's got a special coming out
Dude,
next month.
Justin, I'm telling you, the little bit we've hung out, I love that dude. But
Yeah.
I will say this, his wit,
Yeah.
dude, even off like not performing, he is brilliant.
I know.
He is brilliant. Brilliant. He comes up with like 4 stack things that like his brain is just constantly going. He's just a freak of nature to me. Like I just think he's really, really brilliant dude.
Well, I complimented him on the show about that. I said
Yeah.
because it's like it is
Yeah.
noteworthy.
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
he's
You can tell his brain works a certain way, and it's in common conversation too. It's just. It's insane. I'm
Yeah.
sure his wife hates him though. But like my wife is like that. When I met my wife, she's like, "Oh, you're so funny. You're so," and I was like, "Trust me, that'll get it. You'll get over that." And now that we've been married for, she's
Listen,
like, "Shut up.
Listen,
Just
the
shut up."
story of my life.
Yeah.
I've been married
That
for
my
20
wife's
years.
are you trying to be funny? I'm like,
Well, now
I'm not trying.
No,
I
right.
just am funny.
Now when you get
No.
when I get a laugh out of her, I'm like, I'm doing something.
Right.
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 'Cause,
Well,
Well,
like,
look, I've been married for
that's what-
20 years, 21 years, coming up on 21 years
Nice.
this February.
Congrats,
and,
yeah.
you know, I'm a riot, I think.
Right,
But
right.
my wife is always like, everybody I work with's like, how do you deal with him? She's like, he doesn't, like, this is him.
Right.
It never goes off.
Right.
So it's not funny. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think
She's seen everything you have.
Yeah.
Right.
She's seen
I
all
can't
of your
help it.
material, and you
Right.
haven't come up with new material.
Well, that's my thing. It's like, I'm just me. And so it's
Uh-huh.
like, she, you know, by now she's like, yeah, it's fine.
No, I get a man every now and then.
Right.
It's like,
Well, that's why I know it's a
funny.
good day. If all of a sudden I get her, I'm like, oh ho, all right. You know, I'll take it down. I'll write the material down.
Did you
and
give
stuff.
your three? Did you give three? Anthony.
Stavi, Anthony, and Schlegel?
There you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I mean, the fact is, I listen to the man every morning,
Yeah.
and you know, he cracks me up.
That's
so
good.
you know,
Yeah.
that's how we'll do.
There's a lot of there's.
I mean, Shane Gillis is the obvious choice. Mark Norman, I love that guy,
Yeah.
and I also love Sam Morrill.
Sam Morrell,
Yeah. Love that guy
Yeah,
too.
he's pretty
like
good.
those two dudes are like,
Yeah.
you know, whatever that is. Like Norman,
I like
Norman's
Sebastian
head.
too. You
I
like
love
Sebastian?
Yeah,
He's a little different.
Maniscalco?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
he's
no, I like him.
I feel like he's doing his own thing,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
over
yeah.
here somewhere. And that's why I like Nate Bargatze
Yeah.
too. He's
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
clean,
So
and he's got his
clean.
own
That's what-
thing over
dude,
here.
I didn't like him at first, but he's really grown on me,
Yeah.
and his material, I can relate to all of it.
It's
Yeah.
smart.
like the one of them that I can relate to completely is where he's like, if I went back in time, I don't think I'd make a difference.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't know how to.
He'd
how
like,
the
I'd
phone
see somebody
works.
talking on the phone. I'd be like, you know, they make them where they could put them in their pocket,
Right,
and
right.
they'd be like, oh yeah, how they do it? He'd be like, I don't know.
Right, I'm not really
And
sure.
it's like satellites or something. They're like, what's a satellite? Oh shit!
He's like,
He's like, I could not prove that I'm from the future.
All right,
Who's
right.
the next president? Oh boy,
Yeah. It's
I
funny.
love that dude.
Yeah.
yeah, I ended up liking him too after the Saturday. I never saw him until
Yeah.
the Saturday Night Live. His first run on Saturday Night
yeah.
Live, I think it was last
Where he
year.
talks about the metric system and
Yeah,
all
it's
that.
just-
Yeah,
he's
that
George
was-
Washington.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That was a great skit. Yeah,
And then
yeah.
after that, and
Yeah, that's
Zoransky commented on it.
Yeah,
And then
he's
I watched
funny.
his special.
He's
I'm
funny.
obsessed, dude. I am obsessed. Like I'm obsessed with music, but I'm obsessed with comedy, and I feel like comedians are the same way. They're obsessed with music. Every comedian wants to be a musician. Every
Absolutely.
musician wants to be a comedian.
Who's your
Absolutely.
best,
I said that right.
like old comic, like growing up?
Oh gosh.
Mine's Eddie Murphy. I mean, I just grew up with his tapes.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy's got to be the obvious, but if
I
we're
grew
gonna
up.
go,
I mean, I saw Raw and Delirious so many times, but George Carlin was always my guy.
George
I wasn't
Carlin
exposed to
is-
him as a kid.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. If you
My
remember,
brother was 8 years older than me, so I was
Okay.
exposed to everything.
Okay,
Yeah, right.
yeah, yeah.
What?
I was just exposed to certain things. It's funny. When we were really young, we only had 2 tapes, and one of them was Top Gun, and the other one was Red Dawn.
Dice,
Oh,
two
God.
good ones.
But
John
I'm saying, like,
Milius,
so-
Red Dawn.
Right.
As like growing up poor kids, you know, and I say poor kids, but yeah, we were. Anyway, you just watch those movies over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So now Red Dawn is like ingrained in my head, dude. If I ever see that movie, I know every single word.
Yep, me
I know every
too.
scene. You know, I know outtakes. But anyway, it was like that with Eddie Murphy too.
Right.
I think we got a hold of 2 of his tapes,
Yep.
and back then there was very like.
Oh, it
You
was
know.
Yeah, it was
racist.
Slim
It was
Pickens,
raw.
comedy-wise.
Yeah.
It was raw.
So,
It was raw.
Yeah, it was like straight out of Compton or something.
Yeah,
like,
dude,
you
he
know
was
what I'm
filthy. So Eddie Murphy, Carlin.
I mean, if I'm going to take Eddie Murphy off the table, back when I was young, I swear the stand-up that when I was in middle school, I watched every day for like 2 years was Robin Williams live at the Met.
God, dude, that's the best.
Live at the
That's-
Met,
huge.
specifically.
It's all improv.
Yes,
if you
that's why
watch-
he's a genius.
Yeah.
If you watch Robin Williams live at the Met, I don't know if it still holds up because I haven't seen it for many years.
still holds up.
Yeah.
100%.
It was
I remember
astounding.
that. I've watched that with you many
And
times.
that one, I guess, of the old,
Yeah.
if I'm taking Murphy out of the equation,
Right.
Yeah.
Carlin's already
Yeah.
been picked, and Pryor is obvious. Everybody
Yeah.
loves The
Right.
Godfather.
Pryor's like the Chappelle. Of
Sure,
now.
like
know
we
what?
love,
I had
and
the-
I love Chappelle,
I had
by the way.
double,
we love
I
Chappelle.
had the
Everybody
double
does.
cassette tape too of the Dice Man.
Oh,
comic.
shit, Dice.
That was a good
Dude.
double tape.
Now, see, I feel
collection.
like Dice is funny, but that didn't hold up as well.
that
now.
didn't
Did
hold
not
up, but I
age
think
well.
his new material is good, right?
I haven't seen
I don't
that.
know.
I mean, he does Magoobies
Yeah, he's-
often. Like, he's got
around.
new material. I think he throws in some of his old stuff, but
to
I
me-
have no idea. I'm
To
guessing.
me, is that fair to judge? It's weird. It's like you don't realize how good that was because it was done in that year.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
Right.
music. Music,
Right.
some way, and some music is timeless. I
Right.
get that too. But yeah, I just remember how big he was in
It's
that.
huge.
and-
Like selling out Madison Square Garden.
And there's something to be said about edgy. Like
Yeah.
edgy goes away because everything just gets accepted. Nowadays, you listen to old edgy stuff and it's not edgy at all, so you don't really
But he
get
was
the
just
punch.
like the joke. Like it was just the jokes. It wasn't
Yeah.
like he didn't like go through a whole story or anything.
Right,
he was
right.
kind of like Mitch Hedberg,
It
but
was
just
like
like
it was
filthy.
like Rodney,
Yeah,
but
filthy,
filthy.
Yeah,
Filthier.
Like Rodney. Yeah,
Right.
where it's just jokes after joke
Yeah.
after joke after joke.
But for those who
they were
didn't-
nursery rhymes. Nobody knew what the hell that was. But when he did that, it's like they were like, "What is he?"
For those who didn't live that era, he was the biggest thing since the Beatles
Oh,
for
yeah.
like
Oh,
2
yeah.
years. It
Yeah.
was like you couldn't get away from it.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
mean, like it was huge.
I mean,
and
and
then,
now he still does the greatest videos. Do you follow him
oh
on
my
Instagram?
God, it's,
Oh yeah,
he's
yeah.
found
Where he
his
went up
niche.
to Jerry Seinfeld. Did you see that?
Not that one, but where he goes up to strangers in the street and asks, they're like, "Hey, I'm here for the autograph."
Well, that's what he did.
And
Jerry
nobody kno-
Seinfeld
he
was
did it to
just
Jerry.
randomly walking
That's
in
funny.
New York, the park.
Yeah.
And he's like behind him, and he's like, "Oh, look, Mr. Big Time Comedian over here." And like I guess he doesn't know who it is behind him,
right.
and he's just kind of like walking, like, "Oh man, I hope this guy leaves."
Right.
Me.
Right,
Like,
he's
oh,
like,
look
"Oh,
at this
shit."
guy. Yeah. He just trolls.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my favorite.
He's
And he's a
found his-
drummer, so we're looking to get him in the lounge.
Oh,
Dude.
look, can we talk about too the guy who killed the CEO of?
Yes, we
just
can.
the fact that he's like a Maryland
Yes.
president and his dad owns Turf
Maryland.
Valley.
Isn't that
That's
nuts?
insane. So our buddy works for a delivery company that will go unnamed,
Right.
and he delivers to the family, and they've been closed.
Yeah,
he just
wow.
it just kind of dawned on him.
This is
Yeah.
insane, man. I just learned this today, and I thought we'd talk about it just because it's a local thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
no,
it's huge.
it's wild
and
and
the guy
crazy.
in
Crazy,
you know,
crazy.
It's one of those things where it seems like
No, I was completely wrong. Like I thought this was like a hit.
I
This
didn't-
dude was a ghost.
No,
like he was
well,
gone. It would
yeah.
you'd never hear from him again.
It's
like,
Occam's
It was
razor.
like Blacklist style shit. No, I didn't think it was just a
these,
random dude.
Navy SEALs on YouTube, and they were talking about the hit, and they were talking about why it's not professional because like
Because he was on camera.
well,
number
that
one, I
and
guess.
his gun locked up, so they're thinking it was
Right.
like a crappier gun.
was a homemade
a
silencer, probably.
And the one guy, I think it was John McAfee, or the guy that's
Yeah.
like he was just on Joe Rogan. Like
no. That's
what's his
all right,
name?
I'm
John. I forget his
John
name.
McAfee was just on Joe Rogan or John McPhee.
John
McAfee is the whack
it's
job.
the other guy. Yeah, the other guy.
right,
That's
right.
Dan McAfee or what?
John-
the
but anyway-
sports guy.
No.
Oh.
He was talking about like the more efficient way to have done that is not just shot him in the leg and then shot. You know what I mean? Like a professional would have just gone up and just put one in the back of his head. So I don't know. It was fun to like. I say fun. You know, it's entertaining to like listen to people that are professional at that.
Well, I guess
and
a
break it down.
professional would have also like sniped him too, not
that
just
too.
walked out on
Possibly, I
the
don't
street.
know.
Like it's not like like a mob movie where
Yeah.
you just popping him in the head. But it's crazy. Yes.
It's crazy.
The fact
The
that he
whole
ended
thing
up
is-
being like from Towson and went to Gilman and all.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I feel like it's like.
It doesn't
You
make
can't hold
sense.
that against us. Like, you just can't.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
that
once
was
he
shocking.
gave the Unabomber Manifesto a 5-star review, baby, that's a red flag.
Right.
Isn't
there.
it funny too that we all exist in this area that is so expensive, that is so like what is 2 or 3 of the highest living expenses?
Oh, like counties? Yeah.
But somehow, you know, the middle class and there are poor people like if Baltimore, like this area is mixed with just absolute wealth.
Yeah.
I mean, mega wealth.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
You know, mega wealth, like Potomac area,
yeah, right.
Like and
The
and
money's
Clarksville.
around DC,
It is,
yeah.
yeah. Maryland is definitely diverse in that way. I would say. You know,
Yeah.
Carroll County is probably one of the last strongholds of just like middle class. I mean, there are expensive houses and things
Yeah.
here, but yeah, I don't know. As I play around, you know, Maryland and. I'm starting to play in these areas, and I mean, I'm like, holy moly, like, you know,
I get
can't believe this is
shocked.
still Maryland.
I work in Baltimore County, and I mean,
Well, I'm in house. I'm in.
but
homes
it's like
every day.
I haven't been. Like I
I go.
never.
My job is to go inside of people's homes.
But I
that
mean,
have money.
Dude, there is some money in the county,
Yeah.
like out in those rolling hills of Baltimore
Yeah.
County, baby.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
those
This
houses.
old
Yeah, I
horse
do work
country,
back in
yeah.
Oh my God.
like Hunt Valley, like but like Hunt Valley, like the Schwann, like the farm.
Yes,
Yeah,
the old horse.
Down Falls Road, like towards Hampstead.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh,
In
yeah.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's
they're
wild.
I mean, they're all nice people, though. I interact with a lot of random people.
Sure. And then some of them shoot CEOs. No, I'm just kidding.
Some of their kids.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I shouldn't.
Yeah,
joke.
that's wild.
Yeah, I was not expecting that to be the outcome.
It was wild, man. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm a pessimist skeptic with that kind of shit, and so I just figured it was the simplest explanation. You know, the hit thing is good for
That was in the
movies,
beginning, but then I still,
know.
even though like not thinking it was like a hired thing, but I still didn't think the dude would get caught. I figured he would just vanish.
Yeah, you don't go to McDonald's. I mean, I feel like McDonald's is very a lot of eyes on you. A lot of
but if you have a manifesto, you do.
yeah.
You know
there's
what I mean?
something. There's also something just very strange about the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. And nowadays, my wife has a saying. She's like, I don't know, but something's going on.
Well,
She
no,
always
I mean,
says
no
that.
motives come out or anything.
Right.
Like he hasn't talked or
Yeah,
anything.
no,
No.
but the motives that they're speculating on is he had back issues. He's got all these X-rays of some back surgery he's had, and the speculation, which I think is pretty confirmed, is that he was a surfer, and he was with a whole bunch of dudes surfing for a minute. He had a serious back problem. He left the surfing group and was like, yo, I got to go get back surgery. And then he got back surgery. The guy he was living with said he was in terrible pain. And then he went dark 6 months ago. His parents, nobody knew where he was.
Yeah, that's all I really need to know about him. I don't really care
so
about him
it's
at
one
all.
of those
I really
things.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
It is.
The whole
Like
thing
everybody,
was
it's
wild.
crazy. I mean, it's like, I mean, like the division between this kid and the dude he killed is almost like the election. Like
Isn't
people
that
are like,
wild?
fuck this kid, and people are like, this kid's a fucking hero.
Right,
Like it's
right.
Crazy.
wild
Right, it is
times
wild,
we
dude.
live in. It's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
a
you
fact.
have to
It's
keep,
never okay to murder someone.
not okay.
You know
No,
what I'm
no.
saying?
You have to
No, I
check.
mean, the dude was married, had kids.
Yeah,
you
of
have
course.
to check your morality at the door. I
Yeah.
am anti-corporate pig. I hate capitalist
Sure.
fucks. I love capitalism. I think it's the best, but it has serious problems. That being said, there's no world where I think somebody should get shot because of it.
Right.
I think it's atrocious what the healthcare system does. I think they ram it up our keister whenever
Yeah.
they can. That's a problem we got to address on the level of the system somehow.
Yeah.
Or else we're fucking barbarian
Dude,
heathens.
I just had to make a doctor's appointment today for like, I've had like massive 10-level leg pain for 8 years.
Wow.
10 level?
This guy.
I have like a herniated disc. It's
Yeah,
been bothering
10
me forever,
years
and I'm
ago
finally,
he
it's
herniated-
finally it's a long story, but
Yeah.
the point is, I called the doctor and I'm like, dude. She was like, we can see you Thursday. We have an opening Thursday at 9. I'm like, shit, I can't do that. She's like, all right, the next available is March. I'm like,
Yeah.
are you kidding? I was
Yeah.
like, well, I'll just call somebody else. They're like, well, I can look for another provider. And they're like, the soonest we can do is February 2nd. And my wife's in healthcare. She's like, dude, it sucks. That's the way it is.
That's
She's like,
the
you
way.
can't. She's like, you have to call them back. You have to take the February appointment. But then I call back and 2 more. They're like, oh, we can see you tomorrow at 3. I'm like,
What happened? Yeah.
Right?
what is going on?
Go with the flow, baby.
It's-
Just go
but,
with the flow.
Fortunately for my wife works in healthcare, so I don't have to navigate it blindly.
Right.
Because
Right.
it's crazy.
It will
It's a
drive
Like her
nightmare.
you
father
crazy.
died in 2021, and like she had to advocate for her mother because it was around COVID. So it was like whether you can be back. It was wild. Like
Yeah.
she can navigate that world with
Yeah.
people we know, and it's because I find out if you're just the average person who's just having a medical issue with a family member, anything, you just accept what they tell you as
Right.
fact.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm not talking about like the diagnosis. I'm just talking about what can
yeah.
happen within the hospital, and it's not always
It's
accurate.
not always that accurate.
Isn't that
So-
wild?
It's a business.
Yeah.
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 Well, that's the thing. At the end of the day, a lot of people have like, and I have to straddle this fence gently because a lot of people, like, in my head, I've been disgusted by unfettered capitalism for many years now. And a lot of regular people now are like, these fuckers don't care about you. They only care about, and I'm over here going, Yeah, like what?
Right.
Yeah, that's
Right.
That's
And that
that's what the problem's been here.
right.
Now again, though, we don't want violence as the
no,
answer either, because that sucks.
I think it's as you get older too, and you start to get more wise. The key to life, especially with things like this of that nature, is to make sure you are informed and aware, but also don't let it rule
Right.
Absolutely.
your life, right?
Yeah. Impulse.
And I've made that error of I've been all in, and then you get so upset. So you pick and choose your battles, and also how much to use this brain. How much is you going to let that take over this? Because
that's a big issue with people nowadays is they're letting it consume.
Yes.
No,
yes.
I don't do that.
You got to
That's
reel it
ridiculous.
back, and I'm not saying you guys personally. I'm just saying,
sure.
and I think I try to be conscious of that as well. The phone, everything too. You can get sucked into so many things, and just I just try to like I say, always be aware. It's another thing to be just some ignorant dumbass, and I'm never going to be that. But I try to always just reel it back. Oh, I have kids. I have, Saturday we're going to do this. That's what's important in my life.
Yeah, right,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
Because I get too upset about, like you're talking about, or like healthcare, and I'm like, I end up that guy in New York City. So I just don't, and nothing against, what I mean.
Right. Yeah, it's not good business. Well, look, so to take the shift, we're good, right? We're clear to do. So
we went on a little tangent there, but we're back. It was all good.
Usually we wrap it up by asking the guest what is your top 3 films of all time, if you can narrow
If you're
it down.
everybody's
Get close.
everybody's a movie guy.
Oh,
We've had a few.
It's just so hard. But I know, and I'll just go off the hip. I'm probably going to miss a bunch and people will judge me, but Red Dawn.
Wow, I'm glad you said that.
Um,
I've never even seen the remake.
Oh, okay.
Don't.
God, thank
It's
God. I thought you were going to
offensive.
say you've never
I'm
seen
so
the
offended.
ori- but I know you
And
have. I
again,
know.
some movies just hit you because of when you saw them in your life.
Sure.
And
No, I
it's like
remember
music.
watching Red Dawn in the 80s.
To me, it was so real. That's what I'm
so
talking.
good,
Yeah.
yeah.
So anyway, that just because that was then impactful on my life.
God, it was so
And then
heartbreaking.
Pulp Fiction, and that was just one of my favorites at the
Right.
time as well. Ooh, I'm gonna say the cliche one, but I don't care. Shawshank.
Wow. So we've got a couple for Shawshank,
Yeah.
a couple Pulp Fictions.
Pulp Fiction's one of yours.
Yeah, definitely.
Again,
I like Red Dawn. That's a good new one.
Red Dawn, man. So John Milius directed Red Dawn, okay, and he's the guy that directed Conan the Barbarian, and he is he was a real like war. He wanted to be in the army, like his dream was to join the army, and so I want to say I think his dad or somebody in his family it was a military family, and his dream was to get in the army, and when he got old enough to get in, something happened and he couldn't get in. Like something happened with his knee, or maybe there was something that kept him from the military.
Yeah.
And it really it pissed him off.
Yeah.
And he then went to filmmaking and military history. And so he was good friends with Coppola. He was good friends with George Lucas. He was in that whole thing. I want to say Brian De Palma, all those young badass directors.
Yeah.
And Milius was there. Milius wrote the Robert Shaw speech from Jaws.
Yeah.
When Shaw says the Indianapolis speech.
Yeah.
Was punched up by John Milius
Really? I didn't know
because
that.
Spielberg knew Milius knew war history big time, and he knew that he could do it justice. But all that's to say that his directorial, the second movie he made after Conan the Barbarian, was Red Dawn.
Interesting.
That's awesome.
And
That's
so
two
he
great
took a little.
movies.
It's fictional, but he his fervor for military and invasion and Russians
my
and all
thing-
that.
Has always been, okay. You remember when 9/11, right? That was the closest thing that it clicked in my brain.
Right.
When I was a young kid, I was like, what would we do if parachutes just, I know it's not.
It was
It's not gonna
horrifying.
happen.
When you were a
It's
kid in the
horrifying.
If you
80s,
asked me when I was a kid, I would do what they did.
in 1984.
Right, but I'm saying
dude,
so that is always, and if you remember when the planes hit those towers, for a minute there, everybody was scrambling. Everybody's like, what the hell is happening right now? Are we being attacked? And so for the rest of my life, I'm not going to say I'm a prepper, but I'm kind of a prepper. And I think about that scenario a lot. not a lot, but I what would I do? Am I ready? You know, do I have water? Do I have? So anyway, that's just always been a thing in my head, and maybe it's because I watched Red Dawn when I was younger.
That movie. Why I have a
teeth.
favorite helicopter, and it's the Hind gunship from Red Dawn.
I was say that badass
and
helicopter.
From
right?
what else was that in?
Rambo: First Blood Part 2.
Rambo 3 had the Hind gunship because it was the Russian.
Yes,
Listen,
Rambo 3 was the one with the.
The same
You
one in
are
Red
correct.
Dawn
Yeah,
that
yeah.
destroyed C.
So
Thomas Howell.
we should probably
Hold
give
on,
context
do not
to
leave here. Do
the-
not leave this real quick.
Go ahead.
Hold on, just for context. Rambo 3 was the Russians in
Yes.
Afghanistan.
Yes.
Yeah,
Rambo 2
dude,
was...
you know what the insane...
Hold on, baby.
Yeah.
Rambo 2 was Russians in Vietnam.
Yeah, but
And-
they didn't have that Hind gunship. They just had like
They had
a
that-
Huey.
Okay, I
No,
don't know
not
what the
Wing.
high gunship...
The Hind gunship. That's what that thing's called. That like Russian helicopter
Yes.
that has like
right.
6 Gatling guns on
You're
the side
absolutely
of it. Yeah.
correct right now.
All right.
That-
You know what the crazy thing about Rambo 3 is that Rambo fights with the Taliban
Yeah.
against the Russians.
Absolutely. Because in the 80s, Russia was invaded Afghanistan,
Yeah.
and I mean...
in part 2, I think he, like you're saying, he flies the Huey. That's the scene where he comes down and the
I don't
chopper's
think-
smoking, and he pretends
Yeah.
like it's gonna, and he
yeah.
lands
and he
it.
gets up and he shoots...
God damn,
Yes.
was the Hind gunship
Listen,
in Rambo
I'm
2
just
also
telling you-
because he used the explosive arrow to blow it up.
No. The explosive arrow he uses on a guy.
Yeah.
and
Well,
a
I
couple
know that,
things.
and then he uses it on the field too.
On, at the end,
he
at the
burns
end
that.
of the
God, that's
warship,
brutal.
he's sitting in that helicopter and he's pretending
Yes,
to be dead.
they come
Yeah.
down,
and he's got a
and
bazooka.
he
or
pretends
That's
he's
something.
right.
asleep.
You're right.
And he comes up with.
I mean,
now, that
it
being
is
said,
a Russian helicopter.
This is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a weekend where we all hang out and Rambo.
It's
all the way
Rambo.
through.
Yeah.
It's
And Red
Rambo
Dawn.
Synquilogy. Synquil.
Is it
God, Rambo 5.
Dude, Rambo 4 was no joke.
That was
baby.
great.
No, Rambo
Oh
4
my
was
God,
definitely
dude.
no joke as far as the brutality, and I thought it was a great movie.
Yeah.
But Rambo 5
I liked
was
Rambo
a great
5.
ending. And
I
the
thought Rambo 5 was
montage.
fine.
Have you seen
Yeah.
5?
No, I haven't seen
Dude,
5.
the final credits are like a montage of all of
It gets you emotional.
It does. Rambo 5 is
now I'm gonna
wonderful.
go watch that.
Oh God!
I
if
thought
you
4
haven't-
was great.
If you thought 4
If
was
you
great,
thought 4 was
watch
great, you'll like
5.
5.
Okay.
Now listen, it caught a little bit of heat because it has a little bit of a heart. It's got a little bit, pardon me, of like, there's a ramp up to the slaughter.
Right.
It's got
and it
heart.
does-
I mean, you'll love
the,
it, baby.
The
Like, it's got-
brutality does not disappoint.
Right. Once it gets going, it's on.
Yeah.
But it's like
he
people,
fucks some Mexican
people who
cartel
went to
motherfuckers up.
people who went to 5 expecting the nonstop juggernaut of 4
Yeah.
were a little let down. That
Yeah.
being said, he and I love good story. We love good heart.
Do you
know,
think-
so?
What is it about us men that like that's how we gauge a movie? If you were talking to a woman right now, they don't feel that what you're
Right.
talking. It did not disappoint.
No,
I
it's-
don't-
it's-
do you
oh,
think
right.
some women? I don't know. Maybe there are
Say
women
that in their
that
conversations
they're
about
like,
movies.
yeah, they're like, there was just not enough killing and not
No,
enough
because me and
explosions.
my wife watch Blacklist and we're going through it, and it's on season 4, and it's a great show. But she's kind of gets lost in it because she's just like, it's just killing and it's just
Yeah.
over and over again. I'm like, yeah, but it's
But it's cool killing.
Raymond Reddington and it's James Spader, dude.
What is it about us?
Like, I
and we
don't-
like John Wick came out now. Every
Oh,
guy was
yeah.
like, "Oh my
Yeah.
god, this is awesome."
There is a lot of gals though that I think are wickheads.
Right.
Actually, I think it's evolving a
It
little
happens.
bit.
I mean, Garrett watches The Rookie. Have you ever watched that show with Nathan Fillion?
No.
That's the
It's
guy
still
from the. He was like a he.
He
I
was
know
in Firefly. He's been in.
Yeah,
He's been in other shows.
He was in some show where he was an author. Like
He was
during
in
the
Modern
pandemic.
Family.
I know
he was
who
like
you're talking
Haley's.
about.
But anyway, it's a cool show. Garrett's going through it. Like he's on season 5, but like it's hardcore. That show is fucking nuts. Like Garrett comes up, like we'll get sucked into it because he'll watch it in the living room, and I'll just sit down and watch it. Now I want to go back and watch. But he'll be like, "Yeah, this serial killer. She escaped from prison, and she ended up getting shot in the head."
Right.
And I'm listening. I'm just like, yeah. And Amanda's like, oh, I mean, I'm like, babe, he's not like, he's fine. Like he's talking about it pretty normal to me. Like, she's like, I mean, do you have to watch that? I'm like, I mean, It's fine. Like
It's
he's
fine.
not going to go shoot somebody in the head.
Yeah, it's fine.
You said
It's
so
the Rookie,
about
dude.
about the
Like-
serial killer.
I mean, because the show's funny also, but it has some serious moments. Like one character that I liked, like he hasn't been in the show, and I was like, "Where's this dude?" He's like, "Oh, he got killed." I'm like, "What do you mean he got killed?" He's like, "Yeah, he got shot and killed, violently by like a cartel leader while they were trying to save some like cartel woman." I'm like,
Hey,
that sucks.
That's
I
hilarious.
think you guys are. If this is ending, I want to just mention, I am looking for, musicians. If anybody wants to reach out to me, I'm thinking about putting together a band, just for like festivals and certain things. I might want to evolve what I'm doing for right now. So yeah, I'm looking for like anybody who can play a steel guitar. That would be amazing. I know there's a handful of those people in Maryland. But yeah, if you're a musician that would be into what I do, and just hit me up.
Give your email or something.
Fortunately for you, we know a lot of people at this point.
Yeah,
And
I know a lot of people too. It's just about who's available, and
Well, that's
it's
what I'm
like,
saying.
it's a
I mean,
lot,
but the people that I know aren't necessarily people you know.
Sure,
so
sure. No,
just
that's great,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, what I mean by that is we'll hook you up with some new people
Yeah, that's great, man.
that are musicians
Thank you.
and they're good musicians and they like playing.
And
Yeah.
put your stuff on the
Yeah, yeah.
directory because
Yep.
we're trying to get people to fill up that directory as
Yeah.
quick as they can on
Absolutely.
Yeah, and any stuff you got
sanitylounge.com.
out there, I mean,
I'm trying-
tag us in it and we'll share it.
Oh man,
Add
thank
it
you
to the
guys.
stories.
You guys
Like,
are
that's
awesome.
all this show is about is exposing the local talent that's all around Baltimore.
Trying to shine
Yeah.
a positive light on the area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I hadn't heard of you until
How dare you, sir?
Right. You
just-
said
until
what?
until November 8th when
Yeah.
Justin
When
mentioned your name
Schlegel,
on the
yeah,
show.
mentioned your
Justin
name
gave
and-
you a shout out on his
Yeah,
on
that's
his
nice.
episode.
Yeah.
and your hog. He mentioned your name and your hog. He did.
That is a fact.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
said he
Yeah.
didn't know if you knew he knew.
Well, no, he told me that. I said, "Well, that's not how I know him. I know him from the band."
It made me
I-
blush a little bit when I was listening to it. I was like,
yeah,
okay.
but that's a good positive thing.
Sure.
That's a positive.
It could have
shout.
gone other ways.
It could. Thank Christ he didn't go the other way. Yeah,
Oh,
Ward
man.
Davis, if you spit stuff
Dude,
all
Such
over
a nice
we-
guy,
That's
and
hilarious.
our paths have crossed a lot, and I love that spirit. A lot of local guys, everybody seems to, for the most part, be very nice.
I agree.
Especially, and everybody like supports each other. So I like that. And it used to not always be like that. So I think that's
coming
good.
around, man.
Yeah, man.
There's good
cool.
vibes. It's good
Yeah.
vibes
There's
for the
room,
area.
There's room for everyone.
Yeah,
and they're
no,
always,
that's a fact.
And like you guys said, just shining a light on this area because for the longest time, I have to drive other places because I feel like there's no scene here. So I would love for there to be a scene. Like you said, there's no lack of talent here. It's just everybody becoming a community.
Umar had a story when he was on air. He's the comedian from Baltimore, but he said that it's so weird because he'll play a show at Magoobies, which is right outside the city, and it'll be mobbed.
Oh yeah.
And then he'll play a show in the city with 98 Rock promoting it, helping back it, and it won't be nearly as mobbed. And the only reason is that people are afraid to go into the fucking city.
No,
and I
that
get
happens.
it, but I go, we go.
Yeah, no, I go.
There
all the time.
are safe places. You got to, you can go to the city and enjoy
Just gotta
what it
not be
has to
stupid.
offer. Sure.
Well, yeah, it gets more difficult too as a musician sometimes going into the city because you're carrying a $3,000 guitar. So like you said, don't be stupid.
Right.
Load in, load out,
Absolutely.
things like that. Because I have had friends that have been, hurt pretty bad down there and robbed and stuff. But I'm not
I mean, I've
knocking
been
the
robbed
not
down there.
not
that's the
knocking the
thing,
city.
right.
Yeah.
But like growing up, I lived in the city.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yep,
saying? I
yep.
can't tell you how many nights at 2:00 in the morning I didn't even have a ride home.
Right.
and
I used to
roaming
walk
the
home
streets.
I used to walk home.
And my thing is that I've been robbed other places.
Sure.
Right? I mean, that's the thing. It's like
Yeah.
robberies, shit.
No,
shit,
but we
you
know people like Rick, our friend Ricky Wise. He plays the Admirals Cup every
Oh,
Monday
dude,
night.
he is an absolute
He's a
monster.
Yeah,
monster.
I just went to Racers Sunday, and saw Lowercase Blues, and Ricky came up and sat in with them.
Yeah, he's so
Ricky's
good.
Ricky was our first guest. On the
Okay,
show.
yeah.
Yeah, if
I've
you
been
get
a fan of his since I
awesome.
saw him for the first time.
Yeah, check out some of the episodes, man, because like Lowercase Blues, the performance in there is smoking. Like,
Oh my! Speaking of Ricky, you know, I mean, you guys know the Cat's Eye.
Of course.
You know Cat's Eye.
Yeah.
Do you know how small that stage is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Smackmaster's playing it in
Wow.
January. All of them.
Wow.
There's like
So there's
fucking
like
It makes for a
nine
cooler.
people. in
It
this
makes for a
band.
cooler show.
Yeah.
And the old 8x10 was like that too. It's very small stage,
Yep.
and you would see the almighty senators up there
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the
Right.
horn section. But
Right.
to me, it
the
makes
old
the show,
8x10
Yes,
before they moved
yes,
the stage.
old one.
Yes.
Correct. Yes, and it was just awesome though when
Yeah.
the whole band's all scrunched up like that, but they're crushing.
Oh my god! I was
There's
like, what are
something
you're
to
gonna
that.
have to place people in the crowd. Like,
yeah,
it's
because I
gonna
mean
be
that's
wild.
a 9-piece band. That'll be epic.
That
Yeah,
is
it's gonna be
wild.
cool, but
That
we're
is
going
wild.
to that.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well,
I'll let
look,
you know.
so we'll have your info and stuff. He'll put
Yeah,
up
go
links
to
for your
the-
stuff.
I want to
Go
thank
to
you
the
guys.
Sanity Lounge directory and you'll find Anthony's information.
Thank
Yeah,
you
man,
guys
definitely.
so much. You know, because just for giving me the opportunity and inviting me. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, man,
And what
I
a great
appreciate it.
conversation.
Yeah, man.
yeah,
It
yeah,
is
yeah,
what we
that's
do.
just like
yeah,
hanging
yeah.
out with friends.
That's
Yeah.
all.
So I
That's all we
appreciate
do.
it.
Tell your
we
people.
call it an interview, but
Yep.
it's not.
It's a conversation.
It's Anthony Hurley Music. If you guys want to find me, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Okay,
Nice.
and I have all my dates there, so I play everywhere. I'd love to see you guys come out.
Yeah,
Yeah, man,
One hundred
definitely.
percent.
Yeah.
All right. Stay sane, Baltimore.
Yep. Awesome.
Hello, my name is Anthony Hurley, and I am a singer-songwriter from Hampstead, Maryland. And this song is the first song I ever wrote as a solo artist, and it's basically all about being a musician, the life of a musician, and never giving up on your dreams. So this song is called "Swinging for the Fences." Well, Daddy said you can be anything you want, but dreaming ain't for the faint of heart, you know. Your dreamer's gonna dream and haters gonna hate you from the start. And what you gonna do with the dream when it breaks your heart? If it's gonna kill me, let it kill me. I'm going down swinging for the fences. Seem to get stronger than I need to be when my back's against the wall. God, if you can hear me, can you help me out? I can't bring myself to backing down. It's better to believe than die never finding out. Well, I've been driving way too long on this road, and people gave up on me a long time ago. 100 million miles of broke down a time or two. I failed so many times, yet I refuse to lose. So if it's gonna kill me, let it kill me. I'm going down swinging for the fences. Seem to get stronger than I need to be when my back's against the wall. God, if you can hear me, can you help me out? I can't bring myself to backing down. It's better to believe than die never finding out. Well, Daddy said you can be anything you want, but dreaming ain't for the faint of heart, you know. So if it's gonna kill me, let it kill me. I'm going down swinging for the fences. Seem to get stronger than I need to be when my back's against the wall. God, if you can hear me, can you help me out? I can't bring myself to backing down.
better to believe than die never finding out. It's better to believe than die never finding out. All right, this next song's called Hollow, and sometimes that is a singer-songwriter. You write out of empathy for what other people are going through. I had a friend that was going through a pretty bad divorce, and he had already had children, and he didn't really know how to reacclimate to the world, how to date again, or just how to exist again after being married for so long. And he would talk to me sometimes and tell me his story. So anyway, I wrote this song for him. He'll remain nameless, I guess, but this song's called Hollow. Winter came and went this year, my phone never rang. Summer here got colder by the day. I finally threw the last of all our memories away. I'm sleeping now, I guess I can't complain. So here's to living longer than this pain. I'm hollow, unaffected by the world. The hardest pill to swallow is every day without you, girl. But time gives me deliverance the more you let me go. But I'm still getting used to the cold. You know people ask about you every now and then. I still ain't figured out just what to say. And I've been working overtime so I don't have to think. I hope you find this easier than me. I'm feeling like I'm hollow, unaffected by the world. The hardest pill to swallow is every day without you, girl. Time gives me deliverance the more you let me go. But I'm still getting used to the cold. Monday marked the day you left here a year ago this way. And I stopped looking for your car parked in your space. So here's to living longer than the Spain. I'm feeling like I'm hollow, unaffected by the world. The hardest pill to swallow is every day without you, girl. But time gives me deliverance the more you let me go. But I'm still getting used to the cold. I've been writing a lot, and sometimes you just write songs that are fun. My wife told me I didn't have any upbeat songs, so I was early on writing. So this song's basically just a song about heartbreak and drinking. Two good things to write about, I guess, and it's kind of a new take on that. So I wanted to kind of include as many alcohols as I could in one song. I thought that might be a fun writing exercise. So this song is called Love Drunk. I had the privilege to record the song with a guy named Howie from a band called Ballyhoo, who's pretty big in our area here in Maryland. Howie took it upon himself to produce it with me, and really, I think, added value to the song. It sounds great. I'm probably going to be releasing that in 25, so look for that song. But anyway, this song's called Love Drunk. Enjoy.
Can't find no one to get me as love drunk as you do. And I've tried whiskey and bourbon, but I just keep learning you're my only proof. Hey baby, won't you drop me a line? 'Cause I've been out here just wasting time, trying to find somebody just like you. I tried old-fashioned and Gene Hollow, classic Manhattan and Natty Boh, but it just don't do anything for me. And if you wanna take it slow, pour me something beautiful, 'cause I can't drink this rock-up whiskey no more. A whiskey sours and Moscow mules, and I'm so tired of all these fools. I'm out here just waiting on the real thing. I said I just can't find no one to get me as love drunk as you do. And I've tried whiskey and bourbon, but I just keep learning you're my only proof. I said, rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel, and give me something I can feel, 'cause Jameson and Jack just left me here. And if you wanna take it slow, give me something beautiful, 'cause this southern comfort ain't so comfortable. I said, I just can't find no one to get me as love drunk as you do. And I've tried whiskey and bourbon, but I just keep learning you're my only proof. I said I just can't find no one to get me as love drunk as you do. And I've tried tequila and dark rum, even beer from a shotgun, but you're my only proof. All right. Let me see. What else we got in the bag of tricks now? Like I said, I've been writing for a long time. I have many, many songs, and when I go out and play, I tend to play some cover songs, but I'll sneak in my original songs just so I think people can get familiar with who I am as a writer. And I play around town. I used to play nightclubs with my band. I used to be in a rock band. And ever since I went solo, I've only been doing it for about a year. And I've been writing, but I would take sometimes the songs that I would write in a notepad when I was at my highs and lows while I was in that band. So at one point I did hit rock bottom, drinking and just all the things that come along with being in a rock and roll band. And I turned to God and I looked into the sky, and I was just really at the lowest of my lows. And so this song came out, and it wasn't until 10 years later that I wrote it. So this song's called How Long Is Two Gone? Well, how long is two gone before I should pray The rain keeps on falling this way. I'm desperate and tired, and I need a break, but I keep on fighting the same. You win some and you lose some, and sometimes it's fate. You won't ever hear me complain. I will surrender if I can be saved. Well, how long is too gone before I should pray? Well, I had intentions of loving you, dear, but I felt you slipping away. You failed to mention what made it so clear I'm not a part of your dreams. You win some and you lose some, and sometimes it's fate. You won't ever hear me complain. Lord help me, I will surrender if I can be saved. But how long is too gone before I should pray? Well, I'll go the distance, whatever it takes. I'll get there if I have to crawl. It's a matter of persistence and the will not to break, but I might be too far gone. You win some and you lose some, and sometimes it's fate. You won't ever hear me complain. Lord help me, I will surrender if I can be saved. But how long is too gone before I should pray? You win some and you lose some, and sometimes it's fate. You won't ever hear me complain. Lord help me, I will surrender if I can be saved. But how long is too gone before I should pray? How long is too gone before I should pray? I try to write songs that are fun. Sometimes I write songs that are about my own life. But I thought it was fun. I think I was watching a movie or something, and sometimes when I go to sleep, I close my eyes and I can't get to sleep right away, and I just see like these storylines in my head, and my brain's always moving. So I had this idea of writing a song about just running away from the police and what that would feel like and what it would be like to be an outlaw. So I wrote this song called Last of a Dying Breed. Got the hammer buried down and I'm flying. All I see is red and blue lights. If this old Ford can make it one more time, I might make it out of here alive. I don't think I'll make it back home, and if we make it through this, I'm gone. Billy's got a shot in his side and he's bleeding out. I guess that's just the way it goes. I'm the last of a dying breed. A dispatch, this is car 49. I'm in pursuit down by the state line. I need backup on Highway 4. I got these boys cornered down by the shore. I need some help down here. I think they're about to make a run for their lives. I said the law came looking for Texas. The law came looking for me, and I just missed them in Memphis by the skin of my teeth. I've been running from my past, trying to get free. I'm just the last of a dying breed. Let's go. Well, plans get changed in the middle, and circumstances arise. We lost old Kirk to a fight in Odessa. We buried him there that night. God, please help me to find a way to survive. That's just the way it goes. The law came looking for me. That's just the way it goes. The last of a dying breed. Yeah. I said the law came looking in Texas. The law came looking for me, and I just missed them in Memphis by the skin of my teeth. I've been running from my past, trying to break free. Yeah. That's just the way it goes. The law came looking for me. That's just the way it goes. I'm the last of a dying breed. Yeah. Something like that. All right. I want to thank the boys for having me out, man. I really do appreciate it. So I had one song. Let me try to find it here. Yeah. Okay. So again, my name is Anthony Hurley. It's Anthony Hurley Music. If you want to find me on the Facebook or YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, anywhere music is streamed as well. I have songs out, and I'll continue to release all these songs as I write them. And I perform everywhere, including Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, Delaware, Ocean City, Nashville. I'm trying to expand as much as I can. So this last song is called Harder to Forget Than to Forgive. And I had this title in my brain for the longest time. And as a songwriter, as most songwriters will know, you just write down titles, and I have all these titles. So I thought that's interesting about life, right? Sometimes things are harder to forget than to forgive. It's easy to forgive sometimes, but you don't forget what people do to you. So I wrote this song about basically the way I was raised. So this song's called Harder to Forget Than to Forgive. When I was a young man, my father was a strong hand. He raised me just like his daddy did. Broken bones and bruises, there was no excuses. I'd hate myself for wishing he was dead. I battled with the devil and lost on many levels. He tried to take from me the will to live, but buried in my conscience is the life that I once lived. It's harder to forget than to forgive. I grew up with resentment for the cards that I was dealt with. We didn't talk for years, I was mad, but I gave him my forgiveness, and God is my own witness. I became the father I never had. I battled with the devil and lost on many levels. He tried to take from me the will to live, but buried in my conscience is the life that I once lived. It's It's harder to forget than to forgive. Sometimes I wonder, I don't understand. Time makes you hear, but feels you questioning. What is a man can't be just suffering. Gotta let it go, let it go. Hey. I battled with the devil and lost on many levels. He tried to take from me the will to live, but buried in my conscience is the life that I once lived. It's harder to forget than to forgive. It's harder to forget than to forgive. It's harder to forget than to forgive. It's harder to forget than to forgive.
Thanks for listening, Baltimore. You can find us at www.sanitylounge.com or on Instagram at sanity.lounge.
Keep listening and subscribe.
Stay sane, Baltimore.